Hello and welcome to Useful Idiots, Monday Morning Edition. How are you guys?
You're asking me? Or everybody? Hello?
Looks like Katie froze.
She froze. All right.
There, I'm back. Sorry, I'm back.
No, such are the perils of the internet age.
Seriously, am I right?
Yeah. That was the first time that we smoothly introduced the segment because now we've settled on what we call it.
Right.
Useful Idiots Monday Morning Edition.
Yep.
Right?
So good. Yeah, that's totally, we're settled.
So that took what, a month?
I mean, maybe 3. It depends
3
how
weeks.
you want to count it. Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks.
I see
That's good.
I see the glass half full, and Matt sees it like 9/10 empty.
That's right. I'm the pessimist.
Yeah.
Yep. So that amusing graphic, did we do that?
Matt Wilson did it.
Wilson did it. I would watch that show.
I know. We somehow have to do it, so somehow it's like lip syncing.
I tried putting him behind the desk, and it didn't work. But it's fine. We got to get him really behind the desk, and it'll look awesome.
It would be great if Snuffleupagus ended up being like a metaphor for sort of actual people, because nobody in Washington believes that they speak of him as a mythical animal. Come on, Big Bird. There's no such thing as voters who actually have concerns and stuff like that. You know, the only people who matter are the people who are on set with us on Sesame Street.
Well, you know what's funny is that I guess we're not the only ones who think of this, because not to burst anyone's bubble, but let me just show you what happened when I went to look for. I was Googling an image of Stephanopoulos, and look what popped up. Do you guys see this? So when you put in that's not right. Hold on. No, that's right. You see when I put in Stephanopoulos, Wentworth, Allie Wentworth, I guess is his wife, family, and then Sesame Street comes up, and then Process Control.
Right, and there's Snuffy right there, and
there's Snuff. I guess we're not the only ones, although that looks a lot better. And then when I clicked on then Sesame Street to see what came up, and that's when I found this one. Let's see.
George Stephanopoulos? Was he in a garbage can? That would be great.
Wait, but Stephanopoulos isn't. I mean, Snuffleupagus isn't in a garbage can.
No, I know, but if George Stephanopoulos were a character on Sesame Street, he'd be, you know.
And then what's interesting is if you look here, there's actually an appearance.
Oh yeah,
but not with Snuff, just with some other.
That's Elmo, Cookie Monster.
Yeah. And then we got this guy here. We got and he and his wife are exactly.
And then somebody did a side by side.
But Matt's is really good. Wilson's is really good.
Yeah.
By the way, I ran into him once at an airport.
Did you?
Not that interesting. And I did meet basically all of the cast of Sesame Street growing up, because I grew up on the Upper West Side, and almost all of them lived there. Have I already bragged about this as a child?
No, you have not. No. I met Cookie Monster at the final broadcast of the original Stephen Colbert show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we all sang "We'll Meet Again." Remember that whole thing?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was a pretty weird scene. It had like all their guests had been there, so like it was like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Rick Ocasek and Cookie Monster and Elliot Spitzer. Very strange. Anyway.
Taibbi.
Yeah. Well, I was like, you ever see Animal House where they kept shoving the really weak recruits into this one room? It was like, all the Delta House people with Jugdish and the blind kid, and that's what kept happening to me. They kept putting me in a room with all the other like really unfamous people.
Who else was there? Or I guess you don't want to insult them.
I don't want to get into that too much. Although I will say that I did spend a good period of time in a room with Thomas Friedman that night. So
wow,
yeah,
how was that?
Awkward.
Had he read your stuff? Had you written stuff on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was very awkward. It was very funny. Wow. Anyway, I guess we should get back on track, right?
Move forward, yeah.
So I think a lot of the themes of this week were just similar to the last couple of weeks. It's more vaccines and more reconciliation bill that nobody, I think, really cares about. But there was kind of a backdrop to the review of what happened in Washington this week, and this involved a flame war between the two reigning sort of party members within the House. So I guess we should start with what Kevin McCarthy said about Nancy Pelosi. Now, he was giving a speech to a bunch of people, 1,400 Republican supporters in, was it Nashville? I think it was Nashville. So, Matt, if we could see that clip and let's listen in.
I think there's one problem, Steve. If we win the majority, which I know we're going to, you're all in the fight. If you come to this work, it's a hard thing. I want you to watch Nancy Pelosi hand me that camera. It'll be hard not to hit her with it, but I will back it down for your American freedom. Thank you.
Okay.
So he says it'll be hard not to hit her with it.
It'll be hard not to hit her with it.
But I will bang it down. Is that
but I will bang it down. So this naturally became, instantly 10 alarm news everywhere. The Lincoln Project released a tweet saying, it's a felony to threaten the Speaker of the House, and then there was a whole series of things about how this was why the 172 Republicans didn't vote to re-up the Violence Against Women Act or whatever it was. So everyone went nuts about it, which maybe they should. I don't know. It seems kind of tame compared to insults from the past between various politicians, but he said it. It was a dick move, whatever. And then Nancy Pelosi had this to say about McCarthy in a different setting, where apparently McCarthy had criticized her plan for a mask mandate. And there's a couple of interesting things about this scene, but this was her outside the Capitol.
Leader McCarthy says it's against the science.
Moron is what she said. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two things there. First of all, I love again the color-coded mask top combination.
You mean the coordination?
Yeah, she's got a fuchsia mask to go with the fuchsia
vocabulary. Right. Fuchsia. Magenta.
That's fuchsia,
no,
right?
You're right. It is fuchsia. I'm just I'm always impressed. That sounds sexist, I guess, but I'm always impressed when men have a remotely fluent control of colors.
Right. I actually am mildly colorblind. Which is interesting.
I know.
But, yeah.
So do you think that made you extra good?
I don't know. But so she mutters. He's such a moron. Getting into the limo there. First of all,
what's with the car?
Can we just sort of divert for a second? When you're a politician and you say something like that out of the side of your mouth as you're getting into a car, you're not having any illusion that that's not going to end up on the internet, right?
No. So
what's that all about? Is that extemporaneous, spontaneous?
Yeah. What do we think? What do you think?
I don't know. Yeah. What is
kind of low, but she must have known that they would hear it, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, she didn't say it inside the car, with the door closed. He's such a moron.
Right.
So, okay. So that happens. And then on this week with Snuffleupagus, which turned out to be this week with George Carl, we had an interview with Politico's Rachel Bade. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly, but here's what she had to say.
It does. It's been bad. I remember Gephardt at one point making the joke that when he handed the gavel to Gingrich that he thought of using it. But I think it was a joke. But I mean, Rick, it is unbelievable. I mean, the Congress actually seems maybe even more divided.
Well, and this is a time where you need national unity or some consensus about what kind of signs, what kind of signals you're going to follow. And you really have the opposite. And look, you can blame the virus for being confusing and for adjusting.
Yep.
But at this stage, you don't have a reservoir of goodwill that the Biden administration has been able to build up because there's been conflicting information. There's been conflicting advice. The science has been changing. We don't know what zone we're living in or what the mandate's going to be for indoors versus outdoors, vaccinated, unvaccinated. People want their lives back. And Joe Biden told us just a few weeks ago, told the American people that we were about there. We were getting our lives back. Now we're seeing this backslide. We're seeing his advice adjusting, and it is confusing. And I think on the other side, when you get to the politics, it's become a cultural touchstone. When you have people like Ron DeSantis raising money off of anti-Fauci imagery, "Don't Fauci my Florida" is what the T-shirts and the koozies say right now. And you have Republicans who are in outright open defiance of what the federal government is telling you. You have a major clash, and a clash that has public health consequences, not just for people who are unvaccinated, but for people who are vulnerable. The way that Dr. Fauci outlined it today, everyone's health is at risk.
Oh, is that it?
Oh yeah, where's the woman saying?
Okay, well, but
Well,
I
what
guess
she said was it's getting ugly, right?
Yeah, I think she just chimed in with Rachel. Okay, that's on us. Here's our live baptism by live fire.
Maybe Vanguard can do a video about this where they our critiques of the media.
We meant to do that, is what happened.
Yeah, that was on purpose. We were showing, not telling.
Yeah,
but we don't have a huge production team behind us, so
right,
we have an excuse.
So yeah, she just got on and said, yeah, things are getting really ugly in the House, and there's so many things going on that don't really have anything to do with anything except the two parties just kind of hurling shit at each other. Yeah, they're just beefing, right? So it's whether it's the January 6th commission, the mask thing, the reconciliation, the whole business with the infrastructure bill is different because they're actually trying to decide how much money is going to get spent, and that kind of matters. But there's a lot of stuff that's just, these two parties. It's a less entertaining version of the Jimmy Jank thing.
Oh yeah, true.
Right? The Trident War. So I don't know. I mean, what's your take on this? This has now become an issue because who is that person that he just interviewed? I can't remember.
Yeah, what's that guy's name?
Yeah, but the whole idea is
to put in the comments.
At this moment where there needs to be some semblance of coordinated messaging, and which, by the way, is possible because actually the two parties, there are enough people who are saying the same things about vaccines that they could easily come up with, a relatively civilized series of messages about just get vaccinated.
Right.
But they can't do that. Instead, they're basically calling each other dicks and sniping and all that stuff. So that's now an issue, and now they spend Sunday morning talking about it. And
I mean, to be fair, some of their this is a case. I mean, there are these Republicans. Where did I see that? They're doing these unmasked meetings in protests, but to get into the building, they've been vaccinated.
Well, again, that's what's so stupid about the whole thing. It's stupid on both. For me, it's stupid on both ends. You've got vaccinated people. Okay, they have to be vaccinated to get in.
Right.
So then why are we having a mask mandate?
Well, now they're saying because we have to do both. Because
of breakthrough infections or whatever.
Yeah. Because of Delta.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
Is there gonna be another thing? Another we can't go outside thing?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That really sucks.
It feels like it feels like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to get myself in trouble if I say that.
That's for the
It feels
Substacks
like,
only. If you guys pay, you'll have Matt's unfiltered thoughts.
it feels like everybody's enjoying this a little bit too much.
How
you know?
so?
Like, the Democrats are loving the idea of, oh, you got to put, full body condoms on again. And, let's go back to this time when, normal life is a million light years away. And, the Republicans are just loving the idea of tearing it all off and having beach blanket bingo in the middle of a pandemic. But I don't know.
I just always think that the Dems should have paid people to stay home. Tried to do that.
Well, didn't they in essence kind of do that?
I guess. I mean, a little bit, but now we'll get into this next. But oh my God, this is really funny. Wait, no, that's not what I meant to. Squeaky Deeds Done Soap Clean wrote, OMG, a Biden moment from Matt, which I think is a reference to your saying, I know I shouldn't say this, but.
Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah. Biden does that.
Yeah. I shouldn't say this, but.
I'm going to say it. At least you actually hesitated, and I think it wasn't clear whether or not you were going to say it.
Right. But I hope the thought that I admitted that I expressed was coherent. Was it?
I think so. You're saying that both sides are getting a lot out of it, or trying
to
let us. I mean,
it just seems like that they're digging it too much. I don't know.
I don't know if they're digging it. I think that they're weaponizing it.
Right, but yeah, there's a little bit of enjoyment in there too, though. For me, it's the what was this? Matt Goes Alex Jones Parlor Premium.
I think he's joking. Phantom is a big fan of the show. He does clips for us for the Katie Halper show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody just they really love this, sort of sneering at the unvaccinated and all that.
Yeah.
I actually were just, if you look at the numbers, they were just barely short of their goals for getting people vaccinated. It's obviously worse in some states than others. And we have a complication. We got a new version of the disease that's more contagious, maybe less deadly, but certainly more contagious, and that definitely vaccinated people can transmit. However, most of the people who are showing up and getting hospitalized are unvaccinated, so that's all true too. So there's
you're more likely to die if you're unvaccinated,
right? But it's just like an unfortunate thing that happened. But so rather than focus on the fact that, oh yeah, this lousy thing that just sort of happened to all of us, it's immediately, you're an asshole and then you're an asshole.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it is partly right because we didn't get vaccinated, right? That the thing was allowed to come up, that the variant popped through. I have no idea what verb to developed, arrived.
I don't know. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. We should get on the scientist.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or we could just, we could just spitball what our theories are. Hold on, we'll just close some windows. For some reason, I'm having some Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Stand by, guys. This is what happens when you F it and do it live. Let's see. God, just
fuck it, we'll do it live.
Program. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Okay. All right, let me quit that program. Guys, this is a time where you can, write in the comments how much you like.
You like what? Katie froze.
You like this. Oh, hold on.
Katie, you just totally max headroomed.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're
not even here?
you're a little spotty.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, I can. I'm not even moving for myself. Hold on. I'm going to close some more windows. Why don't we do an AMA for Matt and ask me anything for Matt Taibbi while I fix this? Sorry, guys. Whoa, what just happened? Sorry. My thing is doing that rainbow wheel of death. Major apologies.
So, all right. So, while we're getting all that worked out, why don't we move on to the next thing?
Play the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't play it. You want to play it?
Oh, you want me to play it? Okay. So, yeah.
Well,
we want
too glitchy to do it.
Right. Yeah. So, another theme that we wanted to get to this weekend was the fact that we had sort of significant instances of high-level people in both party kind of going after people in their own party. And again, it's almost all tied to the same small batch of issues, whether it's the vaccines or mask mandates or the infrastructure bill, or the sort of ending of some of the programs associated with the CARES Act, like the evictions ban or the student loans ban. Anyway, but so we had this interview between Jake Tapper and AOC on State of the Union, and she's talking about the failure to get the ban on the freeze on evictions extended, and she had this to say.
Well, I think there's a couple of issues here. First of all, you are absolutely correct in that the House and House leadership had the opportunity to vote to extend the moratorium. And there were many, and there was frankly a handful of conservative Democrats in the House that threatened to get on planes rather than hold this vote. And we have to really just call a spade a spade. We cannot, in good faith, blame the Republican Party when House Democrats have a majority. Now, there is something to be said for the fact that this court order came down on the White House a month ago, and the White House waited until the day before the House adjourned to release a statement asking on Congress to extend the moratorium. This came after weeks. I sit on the Financial Services Committee, which has jurisdiction over housing. We had, the housing secretary there asking about the administration's stance. We asked the Biden administration about their stance, and they were not being really forthright about that advocacy and that request until the day before the House adjourned. And so the House was put into I believe, a needlessly difficult situation. And it's not just me saying that.
Wait, can we stop?
Sorry. Waters has.
Wait, are you hearing that? Shh. Where's Katie? Is everybody hearing this?
Only in the background. It's kind of quiet. Where's it playing from?
I don't know what it is.
It's all up to Matt, Nadia says.
I don't know.
It's not. It's very loud. We can keep playing the clip.
I gotta get out.
I'll keep playing the clip. everybody.
Made that very clear as well. And so there's a couple of contributing factors here. We have governors who are also not getting this emergency rental assistance out in time, which is forcing this extension, what we would like an extension of the moratorium. The fact of the matter is that the problem is here. The House should reconvene and call this vote and extend the moratorium. There's about 11.
Okay, I'm back.
We're both back. That
you
was
cut off too. You were kicked off also.
okay. I'm back.
Ah, I have YouTube on the other thing. All right.
That was off too. You were kicked off also.
All right. Well, hold on, Mom. We're live. No, I don't think so. Sorry. All right.
That was maybe the worst thing that anyone's ever tried to do on live.
What?
Like we both flamed out simultaneously.
I know, we're in sync. Oh my God, look at this. Guys, look what we got though. In that time, we're going to have to have mistakes more often. We had a very generous donation from Brown Binsky and a really, 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 not to, shame. Then we got a nice Joe Leonard, and we got from Boo Nguyen. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing. Bao Nguyen. Nguyen. Really nice, generous donation of 50 Canadian dollars.
How much is that in American money now?
I don't know, like 40 something maybe.
But he's in Canada?
Oh, that would be interesting. What if he's not in Canada? He's just wandering or but he writes, "Thank you for your serious journalism work and for the lighthearted banter." That's wonderful. I'm sorry I can't highlight it. It's too far up, but we see you.
That was amazing. That was like a simultaneous live crack up.
Yeah, and you guys, you really worked through it though.
Yeah. Did they?
I think so.
All right. Well, all right. I was in the middle of bloviating about AOC's thing.
Oh, okay. Did you play it?
Yeah, I played it, and it's her going after the conservative Democrats in the House who threaten to get on the plane, and
it's expired, right? It has expired. That's a big deal. It's not good.
Right. So what's your take about
well, this is an interesting thing that a lot of people are talking about, which is you have some members of the squad sleeping out on the steps in protest, which is good. But first of all, did you hear that Nancy Pelosi was like, we didn't know?
Didn't know what?
That this was coming up? The caucus didn't bring it to us? Hold on, let me get the exact quote. Did you see this? It's kind of amazing.
That seems a little unlikely to me.
I mean, yeah, it's all pretty unlikely. Hold on. They're doing that thing where, like, you know, when two people are accused of a crime and like one person argues that the other person did it and then the other person argues that the other person did it so that they both get like, so they create enough reasonable doubt so neither one can be found guilty.
Right.
That's kind of what these guys are doing. Like Biden, Pelosi, except it's clear that everyone's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I have a wider question about AOC's omnipresence on these shows.
Let me just, sorry, one thing. Can I just read you what she said? This is what Pelosi said. Really, we only learned about this yesterday. Not really enough time to socialize it within our caucus to build the consensus necessary. And there was, I guess, Maxine Waters had put forward an extension, and they could have done a roll call vote on it, but they didn't. And so now we have a moratorium on eviction that has not been extended, and they've gone home for 7 weeks. And Biden's pretending it's the Supreme Court won't let him or something, but that's not true.
Yeah. The Democrats have some they got some hefty decisions they got to make on this stuff. Like, you know, remember, a lot of these things are originally Trump measures. So they're going to have to go back and say, yeah, you know, especially like on student loans.
Oh my God.
Right. So Trump put a halt on student loans, but we're going to reinstate it. How's that going to go over? And then
Matt, it's not fair because there are people who are not rich who don't want to go to college who are now being asked to cover this bill. That's
this is sarcasm from you.
That's sarcasm from Katie Halper. What should be a talking point has been a talking point from Republicans and is now a talking point from Nancy Pelosi.
Right. But the thing is, I'm confused all the time about which party is which now, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I grew up hearing all this stuff coming out of the mouths of Republicans, and now I just routinely hear it coming out of Democrats, and it's kind of a mind fuck, the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't want to pay for Nancy's salary or her ice cream habit. That's not body shaming. That's just because we know she likes ice cream. Oh,
good. She likes good ice cream.
Good ice cream, expensive ice cream. Also, do you know what her actual Twitter bio reads?
What?
Hold on. You're gonna love this. It actually reads. Wait for it. Speaker of the House, focus on strengthening America's middle class and creating jobs. Mother, grandmother, dark chocolate connoisseur.
Go, because she had there has to be something light in there, something humanizing.
Yeah, because she just humanizing, yeah.
Right, because it couldn't say something like overlord of the oligarchical minority or whatever it is, right? Person who likes chocolate probably goes over a little bit better.
I'm surprised she didn't say Godiva. Is Godiva expensive?
It's like it's a little bit. It's there in San Francisco, right? The Fisherman's Wharf thing. Yeah, that's Ghirardelli.
Ghirardelli. Yeah, Godiva's like Swiss or something.
Is it?
I think so. And doesn't she? What's the deal with her doing inside trading? That's her thing, right?
Well, her whole thing is, yeah, like her husband makes trades, and she's been kind of one of the primary beneficiaries of the both pre and post Stock Act sort of lack of restrictions on making. There was an infamous real estate trade that she was involved in, which was became part of the rationale for the Stock Act. It was in a 60 Minutes episode that helped get that law passed. And she's worth, if you look at her net worth, we should probably call it up. I don't want to misquote it.
You want to call that up? In the meantime, I can tell people about Godiva, which is indeed, thank you, Lisa Gentile, however you pronounce it, Belgian. But it was bought by the Turkish, it's partly owned by the Turkish conglomerate Yildiz Holding. Their headquarters is in Manhattan. Founded in 1926.
Yeah. This is great. The fact checks are talking about how no, Nancy Pelosi is not worth. Somebody claimed that she was worth 196 million, and they're like, no, she's not worth 196 million. That's really more like 140 or 120. So the problem is it's not clear because the way they do these disclosures is there's like a range. So you only know sort of within certain parameters how much she's worth. But before we move on from this, can I just make a general comment about, or ask a general question about AOC? She's on these shows a lot, and there's a couple of things. First of all, she's great on TV. The camera loves her.
She's extremely videogenic and photogenic.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But I part of me wonders whether this is like training for her to become the next Nancy Pelosi. She's just like, I feel like she's slightly too comfortable with hanging out with the Jake Tappers of the world. You know what I mean? Like, whenever there's interaction between somebody like Bernie and these people, there's tension that's clear because Bernie's always viewed these sort of Washington sort of messaging platforms as the enemy, right?
Right.
And she doesn't do that. Now, is that the same as her fluency with Twitter, right? Like she's really good at the social media game, which is part of what gets her fame and gets her influence. I don't know. Something about it strikes me a little bit the wrong way. But
but Bernie, I mean, I think one of the things that Bernie needed to do more, and I'm like spent both primaries basically documenting the media's bias against him, but I do think it was on him also to be a little bit friendlier with some media. I don't know. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. More local media. But you said that in the primary a bunch. You're like, it doesn't really, I mean, it's not that it doesn't matter, but if like, the media's hard on him, that's something he has to overcome.
Well, but there's different ways of overcoming it, right?
Yeah.
So how did Trump deal with the fact that the media, so the media had
really hard,
a schizophrenic relationship with him because they, on the surface, they all editorialized sort of violently against him, but they couldn't keep him off the air, and they were really
tons of free media, right?
Tons of free media. They were covertly kind of partners, and they remained that way sort of a little bit. I mean, but his strategy was basically to present the media openly as
the enemy,
tools of the establishment, and they're lying to you. They're they're not on your side. Look who they are. You know, they're rich people from New York and LA and blah, blah, blah. And that worked. It just did, you know? So
where's the lie, as they say?
Yeah. So, so AOC's taking a different, and it's interesting because the media, even a couple of years ago, remember there was that sort of massive campaign against her where
AOC?
Yeah, like all these Democrats were anonymously whispering to these outlets about how she has to decide between whether she wants to be a Twitter celebrity or not. And then there were the stories about her wearing expensive pantsuits and all this other stuff. It was pretty hostile against her. And now all of a sudden she's a star of those same.
Maybe that's a good thing. I mean, there's so much. I mean, maybe that's a useful strategic thing.
Yeah, no, it could be. It could be. I think it's worth remarking on that.
Yeah, no, I do too. I think I'm also conflicted because I feel like the conversation about her is very, I hate to say this word, polarized. Like either people love her. That's not true. There are people who are lukewarm about her or ambivalent about her. Like I am, I would say. But some people just, I think, overly vilify her. You see, look, Katie. I don't know why I highlighted that, but people do overly vilify her in a way that actually backfires big time because it makes people more protective of her.
Yeah,
builds a bunker mentality.
I mean, I remember talking to somebody in one of the committees, like I don't know, when she first came on the scene, and basically it was presented to me this way: it's like, every time somebody comes up who has some progressive credentials, they get presented with a choice. It's like you get to have an influential committee seat. You get to have top billing on certain shows. You get visibility. You get to be the co-sponsor of bills that actually pass, all that stuff. But there's like an implicit thing you got to stay away from certain things. Stay away from the defense budget, stay away from Medicare for all, stay away from, certain tax breaks, stay away from, sort of rising budget for, DHS, the CIA, whatever it is, right? There's like a whole slate of stuff that you're not supposed to talk about.
Right.
And, is she doing that? I don't know. It's a question.
No, I mean, she did come out with a better statement on Cuba than I think anyone else. Although I don't know, maybe did Barbara Lee or someone, where she basically actually condemned the sanctions, which is a very low bar, very, very low bar, but it's something.
Right. 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 But we know how stuff works in Washington. You get, like, there's always somebody who gets to play the role of the fist-shaking opposition.
Right.
But they're always mysteriously absent when it comes to an actual fight that might actually draw blood against their own leadership. Right?
Yes.
So
she called Nancy Mama Bear.
Right. And then they're all, doing their Rolling Stone cover together and all that stuff. And but it's more just that habit of in a key moment, there's always going to be just enough Democrats to pass X bill or just enough Republicans to pass X bill. And, whereas with Bernie, you just never saw that. He just wasn't, he was not in the club. Like he didn't get any of the benefits of being in the club. Like they kept him on the outside. The only time they gave him anything is when he absolutely forced them to give it to him. And even then they kind of screwed him, right? Like they were going to put Keith Ellison in charge of. Oh yeah. Right. And then
Obama left his mansion or probably just did it from his mansion in Martha's Vineyard to get,
Oh, did you see that with the $12 million or whatever this weekend? And
oh, did he have his party this weekend?
yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
we should have gone, Matt. We should have sent a useful idiots fruit basket.
I think nobody would have noticed it. It would have had to have been a solid gold fruit basket.
Yeah. By the way, and this is another very fair critique, which is why has AOC never been back on inside indie media? Yeah, the media that helped her get elected. And I'm not like whitewashing her. I'm not sanitizing her. I'm just saying that I think the critique has to be more like structural than personality based. That's all I'm saying. Which I'm not saying you're doing the personality thing. Although there is something obviously significant and unique about presenting themselves as progressive.
Yeah, for me, it's not about her personality. It's about
your critique is very structural and based on how things work.
Yeah. It's tough. I don't know. I have to think. I haven't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it. So it's just a thought that you keep seeing her and she just so flawlessly fits into these shows, and these shows are so full of shit on every level that it bothers me a little bit. Anyway,
you never want to. It's always it's suspect to fit in to full of shit.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So there was that. So that you had AOC going after Democrats, other Democrats, and there was a little bit of that going on the Republican side too. We had this clip from Susan Collins, where she was also on State of the Union with Jake Tapper. Do you think Jake Tapper needs a better name for his show, State of the Union?
I mean, yeah. Do you think people ever get confused and think that it's actually there's a State of the Union on? Or
yeah,
no?
that probably happens.
Yeah. Someone.
What would you call it?
Tapper time. Stop.
Tapper time.
Tapper time.
That was like Hammer time.
Exactly.
Could you imagine him dressed in those gold? Yeah, that would be excellent.
Yeah. Someone should really make a thing of that, of him in MC Hammer clothes. An image of that.
Yeah.
What about, let's see, State of the Union, status quo of the Union?
Yeah, status quo.
Can't tap this. That's good.
Can't tap this.
The Jip with Take Japper.
With Take Japper. Oh, I gotta love the spoonerism. You can't have enough spoonerisms.
Oh yeah, spoonerism. Why is it called spoonerism?
There was a professor named Spooner who used to love to reverse. Right. So instead of 3 cheers for our dear old queen, it was 3 cheers for our queer old dean, that kind of thing. I have a friend who does that compulsively. It's irritating and funny at the same time. Like, he can't say Spike Lee; he has to say likes P.
Right, you know? That's good.
Yeah.
Horseshit time, fake actor.
Horseshit time is a great one.
Where's that?
I don't know.
There it is. Horseshit time.
Jake Tapper's horseshit hour.
I like that.
That would be
on
good.
Tap. That's good. On Tap.
On Tap with Tapper.
This is good. Tap that ass and elephant. Dems and reps.
Oh, okay. So we could talk about this Peter Stafford. These two are rotten human beings. Taibbi pushes ivermectin, which does not work. Can we just get this out of the way? Yeah, I don't push ivermectin. I don't give a shit about ivermectin. I just don't think it should be censored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know people are very dumb about this. People are really going after you, Matt. I'm going to have to, just to make a contrast, I'm going to have to start taking ivermectin. Is that how you pronounce it?
Ivermectin, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to start taking it and defending it. Now someone's going to, that terrible guy, what's his name? Matt Dimitri is going to clip this.
Oh, yeah?
Serious. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you should take it. I should say something like it's a proven cure or something like that, just so we can give yeah.
So who's Stafford? Someone in the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Stafford, you're nervous. But you see, but what would be funny is if we banned him from the chat.
We should do that, right?
I mean, that would be a great way for you to show that your tolerance of censorship has your intolerance of censorship has limits.
That's right. That's right. My principles have limits.
Yeah.
All right. So should we listen to this Susan Collins thing?
And and someone wrote, Bernie was never part of the club, and now that he has actual power, he's ready to support an infrastructure bill that privatizes public infrastructure, something that didn't pass under Trump. Anyway,
I have to look into that. I don't know what is this about leasing or selling off public infrastructure to pay for some of this. Huh.
State of the Onion makes me
Jake Tapper's glory hole. That's pretty funny.
terrible.
It's kind of dark to think about.
Ugh. I really have to clean that image.
I mean, it would make for a pretty funny looking Sunday show. You know? Combine that kind of grainy Pornhub.
Je ne sais quoi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good morning. Did I miss Tuck Chad, or was he Olympicized?
Tuck Chad, yeah.
I think he was Olympicized again, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. The pay for is asset recycling. We should watch
Tuck Chad, yeah. That same friend of mine always says Tuck Chad. So, all right, so we should listen to this?
Yeah.
All opposed it, and that's why it didn't happen. You called it a partisan committee. I should note that there are two Republicans on the committee, Cheney and Kinzinger. Do you have faith in them?
I respect both of them, but I do not think it was right for the speaker to decide which Republicans should be on the committee. Normally, if you have a select committee, the minority leader and the speaker get to pick the members.
Yeah, I mean, the reason she did that is because at least two of the members McCarthy picked to be on the committee are election liars. One of whom, Jim Jordan, is possibly even a material witness. He spoke with Trump that day.
Well, there were many communications with President Trump that day. And look, as you know, I believe that while the rioters are primarily responsible for what happened, there's no doubt in my mind that President Trump helped instigate and motivate the rioters. And that's one reason I voted to impeach him. The hallmark of our democracy is the peaceful transfer of power. And for anyone, the rioters, the president, anyone, to try to interfere with the electoral college count is completely unacceptable.
Oh, okay. I was hoping she was saying it's complete bullshit, but she just said it's unacceptable.
1 second. I'm having a mic issue. Mic issue, actually. 1 second. I'm sorry.
Well, we can't.
Hello? Okay, now I can hear you again. Sorry. Is it? Okay, what do we think of that? Awkward?
No, I mean, look, I don't know. Like this whole ongoing thing about trying to turn January 6th into 9/11 times 1,000, which remember Matt Stone and Trey Parker's whole Team America formula, 9/11 times 1,000, which is 911,000. Right.
No, but I like it.
Yeah.
I do remember Brooklyn Dad Defiant saying it was much worse.
I mean, like the members of Congress who, encouraged it, and I actually think that it was correct to impeach Trump on that one. Like,
yeah,
but it wasn't 9/11. Like,
no,
it was not an organized. It wasn't a coup, and in fact, to me, that was an example of how the press just takes things and when they have an opportunity to spin things correctly, they do it the other way. So there was that quote from Milley in his book, right, where General Milley,
Yeah, of course. We
where
talked
he's
about him
talking,
last
we
week.
talked to, yeah. So he's talking about how this was like a Reichstag fire moment, but this is at the same time as he's doing a quote saying, it could never happen without us. Like, we're the ones with guns. You know, it couldn't happen with an X department, Y department, Z department, which is the absolute truth. If this had been an actual coup, Trump would have been on the phone with people like that morning, right? And he would have been lining up, you know, a thing. Yeah, maybe an element of it would have been a bunch of idiots breaking down the doors at the Capitol and causing chaos, but the real coup would have been, you know, shutting down the airport and having the 101st Airborne, you know, closing off the highways and taking over the communication. Like, that's how that stuff works. And so instead of looking at the Milley book as an example of, you know, sort of demonstrating that the people in the interior were nowhere close to being on board with an actual attempt to retain power. That's not to say that what Trump did wasn't totally reprehensible and impeachable. I think it was, but it wasn't a coup. It wasn't 9/11, you know? So I don't know. I get hung up on this whole thing. So
no, I think you should get hung up on it because it turned into the new Russiagate.
Right. Yeah. And they're going to prolong it.
The thing that people talked about at the expense of anything else.
Right.
What's it, to the exclusion of anything else?
Yeah, to the exclusion of anything else. So now that they want to have hearings, and now that they want to, I mean, it's sort of going to turn into like a show trial type thing.
Yeah. I mean, they should. Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, it's a question of proportion, I would say.
Right. I mean, would it really harm the, you know, the effort to kind of label Trump as a totally non-viable political actor, to tell the truth about it, which is, you know, he pushed that thing far beyond the limits of acceptability, and he got up that morning and he all but invited people to do it. And if he had still been president, that would have been an impeachable offense that probably would have stuck, I would think.
Yeah. Right.
But why do you have to turn it into 9/11? Unless the aim here is to impose a whole series of draconian measures that you know, that we're going to regret later. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, this is an interesting question. How does the NSA listen to people constantly, FBI infiltrate all these groups with no idea that was going to happen?
Well, that's a completely, that is an interesting question. Like, I'm not as into that as Glenn is. I haven't looked into it as much, but the whole question of how many informants were there in the crowd that day. It's not going to turn out to be like the Whitmer thing,
right?
Where every second person, or I think it was actually more than that, right? Like almost everybody involved, like a clear majority of the people involved were FBI informants.
Right. This is, that's a reference to the plan to kidnap her,
right?
Gretchen Whitmer, Jewish, by the way. Did you know that?
Who?
Whitmer.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know that until recently. They didn't really play that up in their plans about her, which I respect.
Her Jewishness?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of anti-Semitism in those crowds.
Yes.
In the militia crowds.
Which I never really understood, but
these are the enlightened militia would-be kidnappers.
What did somebody say? I wish Matt and Katie would what? We're more comfortable in feeling they could speak their mind. I feel pretty comfortable in speaking my mind. I just find I'll just say it. The kind of moral mania about January 6th is way out of proportion. It's just the question in my mind is like, to what end? You know?
Yeah.
Like the Russiagate thing, I think after a certain period of time, it became pretty clear what that was all about.
Protecting us from Putin's plans to freeze
North Dakota. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Someone said that they wish Matt didn't believe 9/11 official. Where's that story? Where is this?
Right.
I didn't mean to highlight this thing about Zionists, which I assume you're talking about Christian Zionists. I don't know if there's militias cares that much. This is and 3 just learned that me and Whitmer, not me, but this person share a birthday. See, people learn so much from this stream. Here, I wish Matt didn't believe the 9/11 official story. I feel kind of erased by that.
Do you believe the official 9/11 story? You do,
well, they
right?
Don't know. But
they don't know.
Should be concerned. I don't think it was an inside job. I think maybe it was allowed to happen in some ways. What do you think?
I think what happened was they had ample warning of it and then blew it off, as they do lots of things.
Yeah.
But I think if they had any indication that was really going to happen, they probably would have done something.
Yeah.
I mean, no, let me put it this way. If it actually got to the point where, it was more than a standard warning from the intelligence services, which, by the way, were not terribly coordinated back then.
Right. The presidential daily briefing, right?
Yeah, because the allegation that they let it happen on purpose so that they could go invade the Middle East, like because Bill Kristol, because the PNAC wrote about how they need a new Pearl Harbor, absent a new Pearl Harbor, which, by the way, I'm going to get myself in trouble if I get into this. So.
You don't feel free as someone.
I don't. Yeah, no, I just don't want to deal with it. Okay, so Susan Collins went after the Trumpists a little bit, and they're going to go through with this whole thing with a couple of superficially Republicans on the committee. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I thought it was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Well, she's awkward anyway.
She is awkward.
But I thought it was funny. I mean, she has to say how much she respects these people, but then she's also saying that they're pretty
traitors.
Yeah. Did Jake Tapper say? Because I lost audio. Then did he say that he's a liar?
Yeah, that they're liars, election liars.
Election liars? Is that a new term?
Yeah. No, they just throw that out there now regularly.
Like they're like election truthers or election like Biden win deniers.
Yeah, and this is a remnant of the whole like fact checking era during Trump, where you have to put the word false in the headline or in the lead every time somebody says something that the fact checking. 9/11 was created by holograms produced by Lucasfilms. Well, that seems plausible to me. Yeah. Calling it a coup is literally insane. It's beyond irrational, and this is the common public response.
I think it's
like, I mean, whatever it's for, like whatever the reason is, when you describe something that clearly isn't a coup as a coup, and then you put all the weight of all the public messaging behind that, it can't be a good thing. Like what's the purpose of that?
Right. Yeah. It's not going to end well.
Yeah.
It's also like if that's a coup, then what we've supported in other countries, those coups are like mega coups.
Yeah, we know what a coup looks like because we do them every 8 minutes.
Yeah, you know what was so insane watching all these people like the day of January 6th, all these journalists and reporters are like, this doesn't happen here, like not in this country, not here. Like we just we facilitated abroad.
Right. Yeah, and we don't have a lengthy record with a literal playbook of how to install our own our own leaders in foreign countries. Remember that whole thing with Victoria Nuland and that tape about who they were going to have as the running Ukraine when they got done with the color revolution there?
Yeah.
You know, sort of casually
Orange.
talking about, yeah. Was that the orange?
Wasn't it orange? Or was that the flags in Central Park? I think it was orange. Wasn't it orange?
I think it was orange, yeah. I can't remember.
By the way, so someone wrote, why are Matt and Katie trying to protect and defend Trump and the attack his supporters did? WTF.
We're not. We're just saying it wasn't a coup.
Yeah, Matt already said he should have been impeached for that. Yeah, I don't think those things are that hard to reconcile. It wasn't a coup. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a fan of the shaman. Or the guy in the hot take, not a fan of the guy in the Auschwitz sweatshirt. What was it, Camp Auschwitz?
Is that what it was? I didn't see that one.
Not a fan of that sweatshirt. I mean, on both content and form levels. Not flattering, not a good, not a pretty sweatshirt, and also slightly problematic.
Yeah, the humor is questionable there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right. So did anything else happen yesterday? I mean, so there's like this emerging consensus that you know, we need to have certain people on board to hold these hearings about January 6th. So they're going to have Susan Collins on. They're going to have what's his name, the congressman that Pelosi ended up choosing.
What's his weird name?
Yeah, I forget what his name is.
Klesiak? No, what is it?
I don't know.
She mentioned him in this, right?
Yeah. This is a senior moment. This is great.
Oh, for both of us. What's his name, guys? Put it in the chat.
So I think that these weekend shows are going to be kind of a regular platform for telling us, you know, for highlighting people who are going to want, you know, these hearings to go on and to provide support for it, blah, blah, blah. So, all right. Did anything else happen that we need to talk about?
People are asking about our thoughts on the crystal ball Bernie Sanders interview. Did you see that?
I didn't. What happened?
Well, we could watch it. It's fairly short. There's a clip of it. Or do you want to wrap?
I think we should wrap. We're trying to keep this like within an hour, right?
I know we had some tech issues, but yeah.
Yeah. And this is about the shows.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, guys, we got to keep it separate. Oh, there, someone put it in. Kinzinger.
Kinzinger, right? Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Someone's like, "Come on, guys, that's funny." The Camp Auschwitz thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Matt was joking about it being funny.
Jack, is that how you think of me? Do you think of me as a Jack?
No, I think I must have read something. I think someone. Are there any Jacks in the chat? That was weird. Well, Jack,
or is there a Jack in your life?
Jack Allison. I used to co-host the Katie Halper show with him.
Oh, right.
I'll get him back on the show, actually.
Wow. All right. Excellent.
Yeah. Jack Tapper. That's why. Jack Taibbi.
Right. Jack Taibbi. Yeah. All right. So basically, shit happened, and you know.
And then, yeah.
And what?
Indie shows used to be much better. Someone wrote.
Didn't these shows the weekend shows?
Yeah.
Yes, they were totally better. Here's why they were better. Because they had at least the phony appearance of debate on them. Now they basically... So there's the Fox show, which exists to, you know, sort of give the Fox side of things. And then all the other shows are basically identical.
Right.
You know? It's just messaging.
It's true that they used to interview one person for a long time and grill them. Although, let's be real, they also didn't grill them that much. Because remember, they had Tim Russert had Dick Cheney on. That was such a softball interview.
Well, yeah, and then, but again, that's what that was the purpose of these shows. The purpose of these shows was to allow Washington politicians to like dump shit into the public.
Right.
So when Dick Cheney wanted to let it be known that the case for war had been made in the New York Times, even though he had given that case for war to the New York Times,
right?
That was where he did it. He did it on Meet the Press, right? So these shows exist to be, here's where the message of the week is gonna be, and now the message of this week is just Republicans don't take the vaccine and they're dicks, and January 6th was 9/11, and we have to have an investigation into it, and we're making slow but steady progress toward a new infrastructure bill, which they're mostly, I guess, giving the Biden side on that one, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
they're always doing that. I mean,
right.
Again, it's like the media is basically cable news is. But I mean, well, this is prime. What's the definition of cable news?
It's not over the air, so it's not NBC, CBS, ABC.
Okay, so what would we call this then? Primetime news shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are basically.
Well, these aren't primetime. They're
right? Because primetime depends on the time of day. So what are basic cable? What are they called?
Well, some of these shows are cable, and some of them are broadcast shows.
Okay. Well, what's the?
So we're not talking for all of them.
Yeah. Sunday morning shows.
Yeah, the Sunday morning shows. I mean, because it does have CNN, it does have Fox, it does have MSNBC.
Right.
But it also has ABC, CBS, NBC.
Right. We're doing a mixed genre thing.
Yeah.
We're really pushing the envelope. But I was going to say it is. That's exactly it. It's all Biden, and then Fox is anti-Biden.
Right. Right. But there's no like interplay, right? Like once upon a time you would have George Will arguing with somebody on, and it would all be, bunkum, but it was at least there was an appearance of people arguing about something. Now it's just, roll out your PR thing and I'll gently probe you to get it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty boring, but that's why we watch it for you, so that
exactly.
All right. Is that a wrap?
I believe it is. Yeah.
All right. Excellent. So we will see you the rest of later in the week. Thanks, Wilson, for making This Week with Snuffleupagus. We got to make the show.
Yeah, I know. We did, by the way, sorry, just so you know, yes, we did talk about this. We talked about the eviction moratorium ending and our government literally going on holiday for 6 weeks at the same time. Please comment. Comment is yes, we did, and it's a bad thing. And am I allowed to do this? Matt doesn't do this a lot, but I'll just say I did a stream on this last night on the Katie Halper show with like 6 people talking about housing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you some resources too.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see you on Useful Idiots later this week.
Yeah, and Big Birds needs a Sunday show now. That's true.
That would be great, because you'd want to have. Would they be one on top of the other?
I don't know how would it happen.
So you could have that. You could have that transfer moment. The way that like Rachel goes into the Lawrence O'Donnell show, and.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? They'd have a little banter.
Yeah. Yep.
Bird and Snuffy.
That's so cute. Snuffy. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we'll see you later this week.
Great. Bye, everyone. Oh, don't forget to subscribe at usefulidiots.substack.com. You get great bonus content.
Absolutely. And we're sorry we fucked up on live today.
Yeah. Matt's sorry. I'm kind of.
Yeah, you're not sorry, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. See you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.